Hello, Ryanair aka Mac, and welcome. In Alpha 3.12 there has been some pretty big updates to the mining profession. In this video, I'd like to break them all down. These videos are made possible thanks to my very generous patrons and channel members. Thank you guys all so much for the support, in particular to Casey Donaldson, who is my latest channel member. Thank you, sir. So one significant area of the PU to receive updates and improvements in 3.12 is mining. As many of you may know, we have the new UI for all mining vehicles, which really helps to provide more important information while mining, and of course we have the new refinery decks. What people may not be aware of is there is a complete rebalance on all the mineable resources, the mining lasers and the mining consumables, which means it is no longer a case of simply buying the Helix one as soon as possible to mine everything, and there is now more capabilities with other lasers, along with a drastic decrease in mining laser pricing, giving new miners or those limited to a rented prospector more of a chance. Now these changes are mostly thanks to the introduction of the refinery decks, and CIG said the changes will increase the potential for finding valuable materials and make mining more profitable at lower ends, while providing more high-end multiplayer opportunities for multi-crew mining or the combined power of multiple smaller mining ships. They also mentioned that the rebalancing will be ongoing and they'll continue to tweak and adjust all the values, but I personally feel that mining has definitely stepped it up in Alpha 3.12, and there is a lot of changes to take into consideration. So all the minables across the entire game have been tweaked to provide a higher maximum percentage of all materials held within them. Some of the rocks will now have valuable materials in them where they didn't before, with lower value materials now reducing resistance of the mineable, which makes some rocks that could have valuable materials in them easier to mine due to the less valuable materials being in there, reducing the resistance. Also, the resistance and instability curve has been eased slightly to prevent huge spikes in difficult lower end minables, which also should help against desync for the time being. The mining lasers have also been overhauled to bring them in line with the new minables and to balance them out, providing more viable choices. These include changes to power outputs, instability, resistance, shatter damage, charge rates, optimal charge window and overcharge rates, plus they have increased the consumable slots for most of the laser heads. Now I have personally found that this makes mining require a little more thought and planning exactly what laser head to use based on what you might be wanting to mine, plus being prepared with consumables being pretty necessary for getting more out of the mining session. This will mean that it's not just a straightforward choice, and using different laser heads and consumable combinations for various rocks and materials to make the process either easier or faster, and this is all going to make a bigger difference. Now the prices of the lasers appear to have decreased by around half. For example, the Helix one was over 100,000 United Earth credits, now it is 58,000. So a couple of quick tips when it comes to choosing the right laser. I would always suggest when starting out in mining to just use the default arbor laser head just to get used to the process, and this approach will also help you to feel and understand the changes when you do decide to upgrade. Obviously if you're renting a prospector you are kind of stuck with the arbor anyway. But for new miners, the Lancet 1 has some great stats, drastically reducing the resistance and instability, and increasing the optimal window size more than any other laser head. It also reduces the shatter damage, so if you accidentally overcharge it, you'll not be harmed as much as you could with other lasers. Now the drawbacks with the Lancet is it is the least powerful of the lasers, so you will be limited to smaller massed rocks, but you could always attach a surge consumable to help boost the power level by 30%, but it's probably not a great idea for new miners as the surge does have some pretty crazy side effects. Now the Lancet is only 11,750 UEC, so it's nicely priced and a great step up from the arbor if you don't mind that drop in power. For the more skilled miner, the Helix is still a good choice if you are after a laser with more power, as it has a power level of 2300, being the most powerful of the lasers. Its only downside is that the throttle response delay is going to feel slightly similar to what it's like when you get desync, reducing the response between your input and the throttle actually responding, as well as the shatter damage increasing by 50%. So you'll probably find yourself in the red more often, and it will be more dangerous should a shatter occur. Now the impact laser is a good alternate to the Helix if you prefer not to have the response delay in your throttle in exchange for a 50% increase in overcharge rate, meaning that when you are in the red, it'll fill up 50% faster. Both the Helix and Impact are around the same price and just shy of 60,000 United Earth credits. What I do love about these changes is how, based on personal preference and your abilities with each aspect of mining, you will choose a laser that suits you, meaning that mining is more skill based, and they are removing this is the best laser to buy period sort of aspect to mining. Now, because of the changes to the mining lasers, naturally they needed to look at the consumables, which have also been rebalanced and include some changes to duration, instability, charge rates, power levels, optimal charge windows, and resistance. And now each consumable will have 5 charges, which means that you can use them 5 times before they need replacing. So alongside the mining UI, which now shows you what consumables you have and how many charges are left, these changes will really improve the whole approach that you take depending on how good you are at mining. It will also help you to make better decisions. You actually feel the progression as you start off from learning the basics and then growing confidence, trying different lasers or consumables as you begin to feel more capable of controlling them. Some interesting consumables that I would recommend are the Surge consumable from Thermite Concern. This is for when you find a difficult rock and you require a bit more power, but do be careful as its effects are instant and it increases the overcharge rate by 100% and the shatter damage by 200%, so only use it if you are comfortable with controlling it. Also, bear in mind that the Surge will set you back 1400 Alpha UEC, so make sure that the rock is worth the trouble. Now, the Lifeline Consumable from Greycat is a good one if you are stepping it up for the first time and trying more powerful lasers, or if you are suffering from desync a lot. This will reduce shatter damage, overcharge rate, and charge rate by 90%, which pretty much does exactly what it says on the tin. If all goes to crap, fire this and for 20 seconds you'll be able to relax again. Also, with it only costing 400 Alpha UEC, it is a good one to have installed all the time, just in case, and they are affordable to replace, so don't be afraid of using it. Now, if you're just after a much larger optimal charge window, so the green section that you need to remain inside of, then use the Optimum, also from Greycat Industries, which will increase the window size by 75%. Now, the downside is this consumable costs 1500 Alpha United Earth credits, so only use it if the rock is worth it. And my final suggestion for consumables right now is the Brunt Consumable from Squadron. This is for when you have a rock that is dangerously unstable, but it holds materials that are worth the effort. Now, the Brunt will set you back 2,250 Alpha United Earth credits, making it the most expensive of the consumables, but it reduces the instability by 75%. It also increases the charge rates while you're in the green and in the red. The speed at which you crack the rock will increase by 25%. Now, I will be working on a more thorough mining guide with good combinations and upgrade paths in the future, so I won't delve too far into it yet. But be sure to subscribe if you are interested in learning more about the mining profession, and we can delve into it together. So overall, these new changes have taken mining to an all new level, and although the profession is not suited to everyone, I'm personally looking forward to getting my teeth into it and seeing just how all of these changes make a difference. As CIG did say, they will continue to iterate, to balance and to tweak these values until they are exactly where they want them, but for now, mining is more fun, more in-depth, and requires more thinking about how to find and work out the best loadout for you and the materials you are after. And with the introduction of refining, we now have a full gameplay loop. I would suggest trying out mining if you haven't yet, or if you're on the fence of whether you might enjoy it. It is one of the more robust mechanics in Star Citizen's Alpha, and it's a good way of making some good cash, so I definitely think you should give it a go. But with that said, do let me know what your preferred mining loadout is for 3.12 in the comments below, and stay tuned for more deeper dives into the mining profession. As I learn more, I will be sure to share it all with you. Make sure to subscribe if you want to keep up with all things Star Citizen, and tick that notification bell if you want to be notified when my videos go live. If you can do me a big favour and hit that thumbs up button, I would really appreciate it. And if you want to talk more about Star Citizen and mining, I often do mine over on twitch.tv/supermacbrothers. You are all more than welcome. Again, thank you to my patrons and channel members. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.